Dear God, aka the same God that let me be third row for Shawn Biceps Mendes, please help me get through this video. Amen. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. As most of y'all know, I am a fan of Shawn Mendes. 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 Shawn. Just a little bit. So recently, I got to go to his concert that I waited over a year to go to. So in this video, I'm obviously talking about Shawn Mendes, as you can see from the title. I'm just gonna talk about that experience, how the concert went, the whole road leading up to it, you know, everything. I have been a fan of Shawn Mendes for a while. Like a very long time. So I was there from the first album and on, but I was just like kind of low-key about it. It seemed like one of those things at the time, since I was like starting to get older, I was like,
oh, this is what like all the new 10-year-olds are gonna be into. This is what I was for like the Jonas Brothers, and like they're gonna be like that, and that's gonna be embarrassing, so I'm not gonna do that.
No, because this girl cannot look past a man who can sing. He said stitches, and when I found out he was selling tickets, I was like, I'm willing to put my entire soul into these, because for some reason, every time he came to Dallas, I was somewhere else on like family vacations, had other commitments, I don't even know, but it was the most upsetting thing, because he would put out those stories of being like, okay guys, I'm coming. I would literally go through each story, like each city, boom, 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 boom. Can't possibly swipe because what if Dallas shows up, right? And then Dallas popped up and I was like, okay, there's only like 1 week that it can't be during. Like there's no way he's gonna do it during that week. It was during that week every time. But then whenever I saw he was gonna be here and I had no plans over the summer, I told my friend immediately, I was like, we're going. It's done, we're getting good seats. Okay, so then cut to about a year ago, whenever he said he was going. And so then our wonderful story starts. So, obviously to get to this concert, you gotta buy tickets. And so I bought my tickets the day that they came out. And so my friend was like on the scene. She went in there elbowing all these people in cyberspace, and she gets these tickets and they're on the floor, and I'm like, you know what? All right, we can do this. Dope. Let's get them. And so I think we were in like the second little chunk that's like between the two stages. Keep in mind that at this point, his self-titled Shawn Mendes album still wasn't even out. So I didn't even know what I was gonna see. I didn't know what the general vibe would be, but I was like, listen, it's Shawn Mendes, it's gonna be good, he's a good performer. So I've heard, I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna do it. So she bought those tickets and I was on the phone with her and she was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna refresh it one more time and like see what seats they give me. And then they gave us second row Shawn Mendes seats for face value. I still don't know how it happened. Up until we actually got there, we're in our seats, I was so paranoid there was something wrong with those tickets, because there's no way that me and my friend, two broke girls, are going to get tickets. And yet we did. I still don't think, I think we cheated our way to it. I don't even know how we did it. You know how everybody comes up with those memes that were like, this is what I thought Joe Jonas was gonna fall in love with me while I was wearing this in 2009. It was that same kind of vibe on me, but not the same, because I was like, listen,
I'm a grown woman now. I'm 20. I don't have time for this teenage stuff.
I absolutely did. I bought self-tan. I bought fake eyelashes, which I do not wear, because I was so concerned about looking my absolute best for this man's, who probably didn't even look at me, you know? No shade to him, but to myself for doing this and being this psychotic. You know, I've been to concerts before. I've been to concerts for like these major heartthrobs whenever I was like extremely obsessed with them, so this isn't like my first time doing it. But I have never been so nervous and anxious for something in my life. I don't know why I was so nervous. I knew we were gonna have a good time. I knew I was gonna love the opener. I love Alessia Cara. I knew that he was gonna be great on stage. I knew that our seats were gonna be good, although I was still really nervous about those tickets. Like, I was shaking all day. It was probably in the top 10 most anxious I've ever been, so. So that all happened and I was just trying to like occupy myself. I couldn't eat at all. Literally took me like an hour to eat food because I had to sit there and just like mentally prepare myself. We get there, we take a picture outside, we're like, okay, we got this, we got this. So for those of you who don't know, Shawn sells posters that are like personalized for your certain show. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I want it. And the guy gave me the very last poster. I feel like somebody up there was like, that girl. Ooh, the back of my knees are getting sweaty, y'all. Ooh. We get in there, we get our tickets scanned, all that stuff. We get to our seats and we find out, okay, these tickets were real. And we're looking at the stage and we're like, we really did that. You know, we're taking pictures left and right, all this stuff. We're talking to people around us, having a good old time. And I'm getting really excited because I really, really like Alessia Cara. So, you know, she comes out and I didn't know that we were going to be able to do this. But we were able to, like, you know, go up against the barricade. I don't know who I thought was going to be able to do that, but we were. So, like, whoo, it was wild. We got to be up against the barricade, like first row up against the barricade for Alessia Cara. And that, whoa, she was so good, so talented. She walks out and you're like, oh my God, this girl is literally going to change the world. Guys, I can't even explain the energy she gives off. She's so good. She sang her new single, Ready, because it came out on that day. I was like, is she gonna sing this song? Is she gonna sing this freaking song? Because like, this is kind of my jam right now. Her dad actually live streamed it and I end up in the video a few times. You probably can't even see me because I'm a blur in it. She finishes her set. It was so good. Then the security guard is yelling at us to all go sit back down. So we sit back down. You know, we wait for them to get Shawn's stuff all ready, get them all set up. Then they tell us that we can go up against the barricade. And in my mind, I was like, I don't want to be at the front. I noticed during Alessia Cara, like whenever you're at the front, you know, understandably there's people behind you pushed up against you and like there's not really room for you to like move. And so like I'm a freak and I'm like, I'm gonna dance to every single song, do dorky little things. I'm gonna enjoy my time how I want to. And so like Eva tries to go up to the front because I was like, Eva, you elbow your way through, push your way through, and I'll go follow you, right? So she tries, we don't get to go there. There are probably like 3 rows of people like stacked on top of each other. And Eva and I were in the 3rd row. So we were like in the back, but I mean, when you think about it, if we're in the back and there's only 2 heads in front of us, we're still very visible. We can still see everything, and Eva and I are very tall, so we're like, he can see us, obviously, hello. And so like, you know, we're standing there and the music's starting and we're like, oh my God. And so, you know, I'm sitting here and I was like, how is this man gonna pop out? He'd be the type to just like walk out. Like he doesn't need this dramatic like pop up out of the floor. He doesn't need this dramatic like smoke array and he like runs out. No, he's gonna leisurely walk through. And what did he do? He leisurely strolled onto that stage. He was like, And you know, he's donning his new butterfly tattoo and I was like, he is finally in front of me. I had waited 3 to 4 years for this moment. I bought a ticket a year in advance. He literally walks out, sings like 3 words. I was already sold. It was already worth all that money that I spent on the first pair of tickets, to these tickets, to all the merch, you know, whatever. All of this money, all this time I had spent learning all of his songs. All those memories I have, like screaming his songs at 5 a.m. going to morning practice when I know that I had stayed up until 2 writing a paper. It was just so many things all at once coming together. And it was possibly the greatest moment of my life thus far. So I'm not like gonna go into too many specifics about like what he did specifically during certain songs, because if I'm honest with you, I don't remember. I was just there listening to the music, jamming out, watching it. You know, I wasn't trying to like take notes. I guarantee you some people, with how many people were on their phones in front of me, I guarantee you that they've posted them on YouTube. So go ahead. So overall, Shawn really likes to like scream into the mic. Like he just randomly hits these notes. He just like pulls them out. He's like, oh, go fetch. So there are times when Shawn goes to like a piano that's on stage and he just plays, right? And so there's like a back to the piano. It's not just a keyboard, it's a full-on piano. So there's a back to it and he's playing, and his vision is kind of like limited because he's not going to turn around and look all the way back at people if he's like mid-playing. So where I was like the perfect spot for him to just like look out from where he is and boom, I'm there. So I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, he was smiling at me, but he was smiling at me, y'all. And the only reason why I'm very sure of that is because, one, there were a lot of people on their phones around me. Also, like, people around me would look at me and they're like, is he looking at you? And I was like, yes, ma'am. He was like looking at me and smiling at me during his cover of Fix You, which by the way, I wasn't ready for, and like, I'm still not ready. And then for Never Be Alone, which is one of my favorite songs because that was like the #1 song that I sang anytime I'd come home from high school. During In My Blood, my friend Eva and I were just screaming the lyrics at each other because I thought he was going to the other side of the stage and instead he walked over to our side. So like I was already facing my friend and I was like screamo, like headbanging, yelling the lyrics. It isn't in my blood. And he's just looking at us and he's like, I was like, I'm so sorry. There was a little girl who was behind where Eva and I were. She was the cutest thing. I turned around and I saw her whenever we first came in and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to this little girl. I was like, oh my god, is this her first concert? And the mom goes, yeah, it is. Her birthday's tomorrow. She's turning 9. And I was like,
oh my god, happy birthday!
and then like some other girl was near said happy birthday too. And I was like, this is the sisterhood. But from then on, I like made it my mission to get this girl noticed. Anytime Shawn was in our area for like the first hour, Eva and I would fully look at him, turn around, point to the little girl. Every time he'd come over, he'd wave at her, he'd blow her a kiss, he would, you know, do something. And it made this girl's day. Although she was 9, she knew every word to every song. She was singing along to Bad Reputation. You almost thought that song was about her with how she was singing about this thing. The biggest part of this story with the little girl is that Shawn throws his picks a lot. Like a lot. Since, you know, we're up against the barricade, we're like, oh, perfect. Like we can catch these picks, right? If I caught a pick, I was gonna give it to this little girl. And so like, just to be clear about where we were, Eva and I were like, you know, in this last row of people up against the barricade in the 3rd row. And then, you know, there's all these empty rows of chairs where those people who are at the barricade now were once sitting. And this little girl and her mom were in like probably like the 5th row. But Shawn starts throwing his picks and like, you know, at this point, Eva and I are still pointing at this little girl the entire time. And he obviously sees her. He like makes eye contact with her. And Eva and I were like, we got this. But then there were girls in front of us who caught the pick because they kind of just like, you know, would reach their hand up and grab it. They didn't know that there was this little girl behind them. So like, obviously it's not their fault. They didn't know, but we were like, oh, dang it. And so I turned around to that little girl and I told her, I was like, if he throws another pick in our direction, I'm giving it to you. Well, then he comes back over and he like looks at us again and I was like,
throw it.
So he throws it and he clearly tries to make it go over those girls in the front. So he overshot it. So these girls who were actually like in those rows behind the mom were like, and I was like, and everybody that I met at this concert was so sweet, so very kind. So they obviously very graciously gave it to this little girl. She was screaming and laughing. She'd hold up the pick anytime he came over and oh god, it was so cute. We got it accomplished, so. And so, you know, eventually the concert came to an end. Y'all, what the heck?
No words. Nothing.
That's it. That's that on that.
I don't even know what I don't know. I want him to come back.
I know. I like. It's okay.
Is that a reaction?
Is that a vlog? Hi, vlog. We're getting ready to leave and everything, and somebody like bumps into me, and so I was just like, oh, sorry, right? And she was like, oh, it's okay, but she like looks kind of frantic, so I was about to ask her where she, like, if she needed help with something. Like, I didn't know if like her phone wasn't working and she was trying to meet up with somebody or like what. But then they just start walking straight back to where they're already taking down the stage, and so I was like, she knows where she's going and I cannot help her with wherever she's going. So then I look and, you know, Shawn posts this Instagram post about like, thank you Dallas, whatever, all these pictures, and he's talking about his butterfly tattoo. His tattoo artist ran into me. And then I went home and I went to bed and I woke up so tired and so depressed because my concert was over, which is dramatic, yes, but so am I.
Welcome to my channel.
That ends my book on my Shawn Mendes concert. For those of you who haven't been on his tour yet, I hope you guys have a great time. Drink lots of water, stay off your phones as much as possible, have a good time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you like Shawn Mendes. If you don't like Shawn Mendes, just give it a thumbs up. I have low self-esteem. And hit the subscribe button, it's always appreciated. Leave me a few comments, follow me on social media to see me obsess over Shawn Mendes some more because this girl doesn't stop. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.